This review covers the Jaguar XKE, that's the E-Type Jaguar, in 1/24th scale. It's Revell kit number 4509, and it's a skill level 5 kit for the advanced builder. Introduced in 1961, the Jaguar XKE was one of the most iconic sports cars ever produced. It combined breathtaking styling, innovative engineering, and high performance at a reasonable price. It featured advanced technology for the times, including disc brakes, independent rear suspension, and a monocoque construction. And when it was released, it was a sensation in the USA, which accounted for almost 75% of its sales. And speaking of which, about 1,560 cars were sold in the US. At the time, the price was around $5,600. The kit is very well made, and you can see here that there's just as many opportunities as there are issues. It goes together pretty well, so I don't think you'll have any problems, even though it's a level 5. Just pay attention to the small parts. This kit was issued by Revell of Germany, using all new tooling as kit number 07668 in 2020. And it was also boxed subsequently for the US market. And unlike most of the European kits, this one has a full engine. It's a well-designed kit, and probably the best on the market in the scale. And when finished, the kit measures about 7.5 inches long, 2.5 inches wide, and 2 inches high. The kit contains 142 parts molded in red, gray, chrome, and clear. And as you can see, the glass is pretty crisp and clean, and the parts trees are laid out very nicely. This kit comes with a great selection of decals, and the only issue is that some of the light, thin ones, they'll kind of disappear if they're not on a contrasting background. But you can see there's a number of different European and US version plates, and all the side emblems and markings that the kit would have, along with a considerable number of other decals to really make a nice looking rendition in whatever flavor you like. Now we'll go step by step through the process of building the kit so that you can have a perfect example when you're finished too. And also note that at the end of the review, there's a full set of the instructions along with those color callouts for all of the pieces. Here you see assembly of the engine continues, and there are some pieces that are multicolor, so you can see some of that detail here, along with the gold tone in the center of that rail. So go ahead and paint these pieces up, scrape any paint or glue from places that you want to glue parts together, and go ahead and assemble the engine. See the headers or the engine exhaust here will be applied soon, and we're going to continue marching through the entire process here. If you've noticed, we've got a little stand there so that you can get a good angle. There's some accessory items that have been added here as well. Now you can go ahead and pull out the parts for the differential, the sway bar axles and the rear brakes, and you can paint those as you see here, or whatever you like. And now note that the differential has been placed, and you see the beginnings there also of the rear suspension cage, and the fact that the color coat for the body, which includes this lower section, have been painted with what I call a one-shot brand, and that's the brand name, dark green 148 for the body. Now even the shock absorbers are going to get a little detailing. You see the coil springs around them here are a reddish and tone, and you see they are a bright silver, along with the bracket there that's a flat black color. And now you see the springs and coils have been added on each side of the rear axle, and then the drive shaft, the trailing arms, and the strut rods are next. Now you go ahead and put together the exhaust system. As you can see, it's painted a steel color, not too much aluminum back then. Add a little masking around the edges and paint the interior pan a tan color. I used one-shot brand tan, number 117L for that. And then install the engine into place, making sure that it's seated fully and that it's vertically oriented properly straight up and down to the frame. One of the two halves of the exhaust mufflers and manifolds pipes are dry. You can go ahead and attach the forward end to the engine exhaust manifolds, and then there's several sets of pegs and receivers to place the exhaust under the underside of the body. Most of the front suspension parts are a semi-gloss black, as you can see, along with a little bit of silver colored portions there, which you can detail. Now detail the tie bar rack there with some flat black and gold tones, along with the calipers, which have a gold tone too on the brake pads there, or the brakes I should say, and go ahead and let those dry. Go ahead and place those brakes onto the pinions there, and then attach the tie rod to the post there for that. The firewall is detailed with some semi-gloss black and some silver for some of the metallic pieces, and scrape the paint off of the edges there, and we're going to put that into place next. Go ahead and insert the firewall into the slot provided there, and make sure that it is, just behind the engine, of course, and straight up and down. So assemble that front frame, structure there, and then paint that body color green and add it to the front end. The front shocks here are aluminum with a little of the dark red treatment, so get those ready to install. The carbs here are painted a number of colors. You've got kind of a steel color and aluminum color, and some gold highlights on it, along with an aluminum colored air cleaner plenum there. A related unit here for that function is painted gloss black. You're probably noticing a trend here that all of these small pieces have color callouts for the very good detail that they have on them, and that's one of the reasons why this is a number 5 skill kit. You can see the master cylinder reservoirs even have a flat red highlight on them. Now find the 2 pieces of the heater core box, and that gets assembled and painted gloss black. Now the steering box is, of course, primarily a steel color, along with some gold highlights, and then you've got the washer bottle, and that's got a black cap on it, so go ahead and detail those now. Even the battery has multiple details, including several nice looking decals. Of course, the black cap or red caps, along with a steel leadist on the negative, and a red tone on the positive pole. There's a nice decal and some more detailing on that heater core box, and along with the battery, those are installed here on the left side. Well, we continue to follow the color callouts here. You see some aluminum and the gloss black for radiator portions, along with the fan there, and the fan itself is kind of an off-white. And now you can install the radiator and fan, and there's a couple of posts and holes in the frame there at the bottom of the radiator. But note that the shaft that goes to the fan goes into a hole in the front of the engine block. Now in this picture, just to the right of the engine there against the firewall, you'll be able to install the air cleaner housing and the master cylinder reservoirs into position back there. And now we can add the carbs into, there's 3 slots there against the right side of the engine block, and the plenum goes right onto that large round box on the passenger side of the engine bay. On top of the radiator there housing, we're going to add the coolant tank bracket and lower half. And notice all along you'll be adding decals to the engine bay for various things. Now some dealing for the upper half of the coolant tank. You see the filler up port on top there, and then of course the coolant lines as well. So position the coolant tank top half on top of the lower half, and then there the coolant line goes all the way back to the firewall. Well, now it's time for that basically only option, and that's the right or left hand steering. And so I chose the left side steering unit dashboard and went and detailed that with a little bit of semi-gloss black, a lot of the decals that came out of the kit, and a little bit of chrome and foil. The area around the radio was also painted tan to go along with the interior color. Next, we'll detail the steering wheel. You see there with the chrome spokes and the black lighteners in the center, along with a decal in the middle, and of course the walnut rim. Now the pedals, of course, then are painted semi-gloss black as well, and they'll be added, as you see here, to the dashboard. So go ahead and assemble that unit and let it dry. Here you see the console plate has been painted silver, along with the shifter and the handbrake lever. So this is a two-seater, so there's room in the back, ample room for luggage and things behind the seats, and this is the floor of the interior portion there, and it's got some raised ribs on it that are chromed, so use a chrome pen there to detail those. Now it's time to glue that floor portion of the interior compartment there in place, and also the chrome plate for the console, along with the shifter and the handbrake. And now you need to add the hood latch clevises. They're pointed out there with a toothpick. They're a silver color, and this also shows off the decals that go on those ribs in the back of the interior portion. Those thin little wood strips will go on top of your chrome highlight. And now we'll put the assembled dashboard into place. It fits on the console just ahead of the console plate there, but also note that you'll need to locate the steering shaft through the firewall. So locate that as you're putting it into position. Now the door panels need to be finished up, and of course they were painted interior tan. You've got the handles and cranks that go into place, along with some highlighting, and the chrome pen will come to your aid there again. Now the door panels will slide into place. There's a couple of slots at the bottom, and align that in the back there with the ridges. And also this goes just underneath the dashboard on the lower edges of the dashboard outside there to make sure that those all line up. And use some slow setting glue to ensure your alignment. And here are the tires. Like I said, they've got some great tread detail, but alas, there's no sidewall script. You'll have to cut the center spokes out of there and trim those out with a hobby knife. And here you see the wheel assemblies, and you've got the inner wheel there, the disc that goes on the inside, that's painted semi-gloss black, along with the wire wheels. Nice looking for plastic. And then the internal portion is nice and large, and you can glue the axles into that for free rotation without worrying about getting it and gumming up the works. Now also the spinner there, that's going to need to be touched up a little bit after you get that off of the tree with a little chrome paint. So assemble the wheels of the inner and outer half, trapping the inner portion there that rotates. And then when you're done, add a little, black wash to these wires and give them a little depth so that it's not too thick, but you can see the individual parts. Use a little bit of white glue to install the mirror into position. You see the red arrow there pointing to that. It goes right into a little depression on the top of the roof, just behind the windshield. Now it's crucial time. You're going to add the body to the lower portion of the chassis. So you're going to put a little bit of glue lightly along the lower ridges here, and then that's going to mate underneath, kind of out of sight, with the rest of the lower body on the underside. Now also there's a rib on the right that goes underneath the front section of the car, and of course the roll pan of the left side goes underneath and connects to the body over there. So just be careful. Make sure that it's glued all along the length of those two surfaces, but not very heavily. And then keep it together if you have to, with a little bit of pressure until the glue sets. Use some white glue around the edges sparingly, and glue that windshield into the chrome trim piece. And then once that's dry, clean off any glue that if necessary, and then add that likewise to the body. In the same way, go ahead and install that rear window along with the side glass, which goes into place. These all from the outside. And now we're going to install the rear tail lights and rear bumpers. The tail lights, of course, have a clear piece that is colored. They've got two different colors for the European, orange for the turn signal and the stoplight. And we're going to add that to the bezel and glue that into place using some white glue. Also, likewise, we're going to add the bumpers, and they can be glued into position as well. Add the vertical bumper guards into position over the bumpers and the license plate tag to the back of the car. Now make sure when you put your headlight lenses into the bezels that they are going to be located, vertically and horizontally with the lines after you get them into the panel here for the headlight bulkhead. And next we're going to add the framing supports to that front headlight panel, and they're kind of a semi-gloss black. And here you see, as we mentioned way back in the beginning, you have to scratch off any paint or chrome if you're going to glue parts together. And you can see that those have been scraped off here from the underside of the hood. So now we're going to add that front headlight panel there and glue that into position. After the framing is dried, go ahead and glue the front rope, the stone pan there into position at the bottom of the hood bonnet. After that structure is dried, you can go ahead and add the front end of the car to some posts that are opposing on opposite sides that fit into that frame that you mounted the headlight panel on, and it just is a hinge, so it acts as a hinge for the whole front end. And then go ahead and I painted the headlight openings there a bright silver. Now you can use some of that white glue to go ahead and install the headlight lens covers to the trim there, and those will be attached, of course, to the openings. And use the same technique for the turn signals there into the bezels and then onto the body. Scrape the chrome from the notches in the center bar and then also from the edges, inside edges of the bumpers, and glue those together and let those set and dry. Make sure that it sets nice and flat on a flat plane so that they are all horizontal, and then go ahead and glue those into position on the body. Here are the mirror housings and the mirror blanks to the right. I find it easier to trim off the mirror blanks with a sharp hobby knife and stand stick, and then glue them into position using some white glue while the housings are still on the tree, and then cut off the housings and add those to the body. And here you see the bumpers and the mirrors in place. Now, the instructions have you install this antenna, and it's very small, but it goes on the top in the middle of the body, and that's a European thing. I've never seen that so in the US, so we didn't use it. So locate the windshield wipers, and because the car's windshield was so short and yet so wide, they ended up using a center windshield wiper, so there's 3 wipers to install there. And also note that the side view mirrors are in place there, and they actually look at those through the curve on the front of the windshield. And don't put away those tweezers, because it's time to install the door handles now too. Alright, well, now your kit is complete with that installation, and you put the hood up here to show off that engine. Most of the parts that you'll have here are related to the right-hand steering, as well as the European antenna and the rest of the decal sheet. Well, there you have it. Your kit is finished, and it's a stunning example that you'll be proud to put on your shelf, and it was just as impactful back in the day when it was first released in the early 60s with radical new styling and that long hood, short deck. It kind of was a forerunner of the pony cars that came to be so popular in America after the introduction of the Mustang. But this gorgeous and elegant car has a nice set of appointments to it, a full set of decals, and a lot of detailing to make it look very realistic. So if I were you, I'd buy one and put it on my shelf.
Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
This review is brought to you in part by Ryder's Hobby Shops, where the fun begins. Stop in to one of Ryder's 2 convenient Michigan locations, where you'll find a full range of the latest hobby products, supplies, parts, tools, and paint. you'll find aisles and aisles of scale model kits, RC models, model rockets, Warhammer gaming, and railroading products. Stop in at Riders today and tell them Doug sent you.